Hugging Face is an open source AI platform full of random tools. And it's a little bit more than a platform. It's actually a community of software developers creating web tools with AI, or AI web tools for end users. So some of these are tools that are really something that somebody would adopt and bring into their own platform. And then some of them are really fun tools that anybody can interact with. But one thing that I do want to highlight that I think is super cool is the AI Comic Factory. And this is the tool that we have been using in the IFE to create some comic strips for the IFE newsletter. So AI Comic Factory is free. It offers you the ability to have AI generate a 4-panel comic strip with captions in 13 different art styles. Now, the captions usually require some revision or another AI tool to help. They're just really, I call them kind of plain. And so a lot of times I'll use ChatGPT to help me write a little bit stronger dialogue for my comic strips. So one of the major challenges for this AI Comic Factory, it's free. So it can be slow, and sometimes it can be a little difficult to export. So a lot of times it's more reliable to either save each panel individually as like a JPEG and then rearrange them in Canva, or just to take a screenshot of the comic strip rather than using the export or the save tool. So this is Hugging Face's website. So let me back up. This is their website, but we're going to focus in on Spaces, and this is where some of the tools are. Now, some of these tools are ones that we can interact with and make some cool stuff, and then some of them are a little bit more advanced for like software development. But the one that we're going to focus on is AI Comic Factory, because I've just been enjoying playing with this tool. So we're going to make 2 comics before we end this video. I'm going to change my art style from the default American Modern, and let's do American 1950. Maybe layout 2. We're going to let it give us some captions just so you can see they're kind of just okay. And so let's do a robot looking at cave art in a prehistoric cave. So really simple prompt. One thing I'll say as I click the go button, this can be a little bit slow, so I'm going to try to fast forward. Okay, so that took about 2 minutes, not too bad, a little bit faster than some of the other times I've used this tool. There have been a few times where I had to patiently wait maybe like 7 to 10 minutes for a comic strip to appear. So now we have our comic. It's okay. It's not bad. If there's any panels that you don't like, for instance, this one, these things do not quite look like robots. So we can click the redraw button if we want to. One thing is it sort of left out the cave art. So if we wanted to get more specific with our prompt, we can. But I wanted to highlight just what you could do with a very brief and simple prompt. The more specific you are, you'll get a little bit better results. But do keep in mind that there's another side of, I guess, that bell curve, that if you are over specific, you might actually start getting lower quality results as you start confusing the AI tool. So there is a little bit of play, but the nice thing is this is totally free. The only thing it requires of you is a little bit of patience, because it does take time to make these comic strips, but they're super cool. Let's zoom in a little bit. You can see the captions are kind of okay. One thing that is sort of neat is as you change the art style, the style of writing for the captions will also match that artistic style, which I think is a pretty cool touch. Now, if we were done, we could zoom out a little bit. We could take a screenshot of our comic strip and crop it, or we can right click and save image as on each of these panels. So let's do one more comic strip before we call this video done for a demonstration. So let's change to let's do Franco-Belgian. And let's see what layout 3 looks like. Oh, it's already starting to generate. Let's start over. Let's go back to Franco-Belgian. Layout 3. We'll do a caption. And let's get a robot talking to Plato about future societies at the Greek Forum. And let's see how good of a job it does. So let's click go. And I will fast forward. Okay, so that one took about 2 minutes as well, and not exactly what I was hoping for. So I would probably either change my art style or try again. So I wasn't really impressed. I didn't know that, I don't know which one's our robot and which one's supposed to be Plato, but I did not know that Plato was a robot. So maybe let's give it one more try and then we will move on. So let's give it, let's try flying saucer and see what happens. Okay, that still took a couple minutes and I got stuck a couple times. So I went to American Modern just to sort of get the website to create us some comics. And it looks like I really need to be more specific in my prompt. It's still sort of missing what I'm trying to go for. So that's where it does take a little bit of patience when working with generative AI tools that create artwork. So it's still treating Plato as, I guess, a robot that's also engaging with our robot. And in this first panel, it put the robot on a pedestal and then gave us people. And then I'm not sure what's going on. So, but we're going to wrap up this video by saying AI Comic Factory is super cool. Does require some very specific prompt engineering. And what I mean by that is just being very specific in what you want to see in your comics. So you don't have to engineer artistic style. I wouldn't recommend trying to engineer the captions, just because it's going to confuse it, as this tool is really focused on generating visual artwork rather than text-based responses. So give it a shot, totally free, pretty cool.